Today we're gonna go to Uruguay, and we are at the terminal right now to take the ferry. Once we get in, we just arrived, and once we get in, I'm gonna explain everything to you, how to buy the ticket, how it works, where we are going, and all the other details. So now that we did everything, I'm gonna explain to you how it works. Basically, actually, this is the terminal. Over there, this is the immigration. That there are kiosks right next to each other. You go first through the customs and immigration of Argentina, then you go to the next booth, which is from Uruguay. Technically, it's as if you leave Argentina and you enter Uruguay. Now, there are a lot of things I wanted to explain. We are going to Colonia Del Sacramento, which is a little city, and another day, maybe in our next video actually, we will be going to the capital of Uruguay, Montevideo. But today we are using one service, one ferry boat, which is the company is called Colonia Express. And for Montevideo, we're gonna use another one, which is called Buquebus. We have used that one in 2020 because we did the same trip also in 2020 when we came, but back then we were not doing YouTube. So we wanted to have the experience with both companies, and we can share it with you guys too, and how it is, the quality and everything else. The ticket with this company for both of us was 140,000 Argentinian pesos, and they had a special that at this time that we are leaving, we're leaving at 10:30 a.m. and with this ticket they also had a 1 hour free tour of Colonia, which is included, they said. So that was good. We're not sure if we're gonna do the tour or not, but you don't have to. You have that option if you want to use the tour. It's available to you. And as I mentioned, we are doing two separate trips. In 2020, what we did, we actually did both trips in one day. Because we were alone here, we didn't have our dog with us, so we could leave like the whole day. Today we're going in the morning, we're coming back in the afternoon. But if you want, you also have an option to go to Colonia in the morning, visit Colonia very quickly, then you take a bus from Colonia. With the bus, you go to Montevideo. You will have the afternoon to go around Montevideo, and then at the end of the afternoon or beginning of the evening, you take the ferry from Montevideo to come back to Buenos Aires. That one is hectic and very long, because you have to wake up very early in the morning. I think the ferry leaves at around 8 or something, but you have to be here at the terminal an hour and a half before departure. So I remember last time we woke up at 5:30 or 6 a.m. and then we got back to our hotel at night around 10 p.m. It's a bit too long, but if you want, you can do that too. That being said, we are here at the terminal, checked in, went through customs, and we're just waiting to board. And once we board, I'll also show you the ferry boat. One more thing also that I have to mention is the ticket. You can buy it at the terminal, or you can also buy online. What we did, we went to a shopping mall downtown, Galerías Pacífico. Over there they have a stand and you can buy it from there. The problem with buying online is that we heard some people, once they buy online, then there are some extra charges that they have to pay. So just to avoid all of that, we wanted to make sure that we don't have any hiccups, any surprises. So we bought it at that stand of Colonia Express in downtown at the shopping mall. Half an hour before departure, and we are going to board the vessel. We are on the vessel. This one is the terminal right behind us, and this is the vessel. I think we could even go upstairs. No, sorry, it's closed. But there is a space on top also. This one is written casino. I'm not sure if this is the casino, but anyway, this is how the boat looks like. Colonia Express, and we'll have a duty-free shop. So while you're on the boat, you can also entertain yourself and spend some money. Wow, this is nice, Mariana. Different level. coffee. Seats by the window, far from the window. Very nice. So we got a couple of seats over there. It looks like a VIP section. It's not really. It's just there's no class for the seats. You can sit anywhere you want. But you also have life jackets under all of the seats, and they're different levels. Very nice and clean. And before we leave, I wanted also to show you the store. They have the famous Alfajor, Havana, different flavors, chocolate, drinks if you want. And obviously, because it's a duty-free shop, you also have perfumes and chocolate, everything else. This part I'm going to entertain myself to see. Ooh, they actually have Blue Label. Oh my god, Blue Label. Wherever we went, I didn't actually see it in other stores in Argentina. They said they were all sold out, but now here they have it. I don't know how much it is. There is only a number, 293, 139. I think it's 293,000, something like that, maybe. I'm not sure if those are the prices, but would make sense. So you have all of this on the ship while you are going to Colonia. Very nice. Okay, so I just checked the price of the chocolate because there is a machine here that you can check the price, and apparently these prices, they're all in US dollars. So like once you scan the chocolate, it says like 16 US dollars. So even the other drinks, I think they're all priced in US dollars. One more thing is, if you come with suitcases, there's also space for your luggage to leave them here. And I really think that from the number of people that we saw in the terminal, the vessel actually has much higher capacity, because as you can see, this section is still like almost empty, and there weren't that many people still going through immigration. So I think the capacity of the ship is much more. When you come from the main deck, also upstairs there is a coffee shop that you can have coffee, sandwiches, and a huge sitting area also to have a meal, get together. And there is this deck also. You can go outside, see it. Hello, there are ferry people too here, very cute. And so this is the deck that is on top of the lower floor of the vessel. We are leaving the terminal now. It's just like a couple of minutes late. I wouldn't even say it's late. Vessel of this size and this many people on it, it's all good. So we are leaving the port now, and next stop will be Colonia del Sacramento. Alright, welcome to Uruguay and welcome to Colonia. del Sacramento. We just arrived. It's like an hour and a half is the whole trip by boat, and now we're just gonna go through the terminal and discover Colonia del Sacramento. That's the boat that we took. Boat, ship, ferry, I don't know what you call it exactly, but that's the one. And here is how the terminal looks like. Mariana, excited to be in Colonia?
Yes.
In Uruguay.
Yes.
So with the ticket that we had bought for us, when we bought, they told us it was a special offer, that they were also offering a 1-hour free guided tour in Colonia. So we just arrived. We told them it's at this stand that you have to go and tell them that you have that voucher. So we're just waiting for the guide, and then we're gonna start the tour also. We do it, and then after that, if there's something else that we want to go around and visit, we'll show you that too. All right, where you arrive, which is the terminal behind this building, is when you actually cross the water. That is the river La Plata, and right next to that terminal you have this building. This building is the old train station, and this is river La Plata, as I mentioned. So we're not in the ocean or anything yet. This is not the ocean, this is the river. When you take the ferry and you cross the water from Buenos Aires to come here, or even to go to Montevideo, this is river La Plata. The city of Colonia has around 35,000 people as a population, and a very interesting history. In 1680 it was actually originally founded by the Portuguese, but then if you look at the history and if you just Google the city, you will see that throughout years it changed hands so many times, because the Portuguese and the Spanish at that time in South America, they were fighting with each other all the time. So they would fight, and there was a treaty, so the city would belong to Portugal. Then they would sign another treaty, the city would switch hands and would become under the control of the Spanish. So this happened so many times. At some point it was even part of Brazil, because Brazil was part of the greater, like, United Kingdom of Portugal, and Colonia del Sacramento was part of that. But now it is part of Uruguay. As you walk by the coast, then you will arrive here next to this big stone wall that as at the time there were a lot of conflicts between the Portuguese and the Spanish. The Portuguese in 1745 built this wall, and when you look at the map, apparently it is in a very, very strategic position, because it is like a narrow part of the river. So they made sure that the Spanish could not attack them from the sea directly, and they had to go a little bit further down on the beach, and then the soldiers had to get off the boats and the ships, then they could come and attack the city. But this wall was mainly constructed just for defense, and as you can see maybe in the distance there is even a cannon, and we will visit further the rest of the wall as well. So as you can see, there is a sign from the UNESCO here, and because this part that we are going to start visiting now, which is the historic part of town, it is a UNESCO heritage site, obviously because of the history and all the structures that you can see. Two more things that are very important to mention: make sure you wear comfortable shoes, because you will be walking on a lot of cobblestone streets like this. So comfortable shoes are a must, because otherwise you're going to twist your ankle. The second one is, if you come here on a day like this, it is beautiful, but you have to bring a lot of sunblock because the sun is brutal. And this is street that is right next to the main square, Plaza Major, is a pure example of Portuguese architecture. As you can see, at that time, the Portuguese architecture, or I would say urban planning, was in a way that there were no sidewalks, and these were built in the beginning, these are older, and then after that, when the Spanish took over, the other streets that were built by the Spanish, they do have sidewalks. But this street, it's a typical example of the Portuguese style of construction, that usually you don't have sidewalks. Right next to Plaza Mayor, you have this lighthouse, and you also have this building, which is a museum. It's interesting to mention that our guide mentioned you can buy the ticket for the museums. In US dollars, it would be around $4 per person, but you have to convert it to the Uruguayan currency, because the museum does not accept US dollar or anything, even though everything else you can pay in US dollar. But with that, apparently you can visit all 4 major museums in town, one of which is this one. So if you want to do that activity too, you have this option to also visit all the museums, and it's just like $4 per person. Another thing very interesting I just learned, thanks to our guide, you see the tiles on the roof. These are the typical Portuguese tiles on the roof that you see everywhere, and the original ones, they were not all uniform. The reason for that is when they were using the paste or the mix that they would make these tiles from, the workers would put it on their thighs. So they would put it on their thigh, and depending on the size of the person that was making the tiles, the size of the tile would also change. It would become a bit bigger, a bit smaller, but it's very interesting to know that that's why they're all like semicircle, and they all have this style. So after the tour, we quickly had lunch on this street. This is the main street of the city. It is called General Flores. And as you can see, there is a square, parks, restaurants, banks, shops, everything. This is the main street that you can find anything and everything. So as we were just walking, I wanted to show you this too. There are some stores also that you can rent cars. You can rent golf cars if you want to rent them, or even bikes to go around the city faster. So you can do that as well. And one end of this main street, General Flores, actually leads to the water, because where you are and where the historic part of town is located is actually like a point of an arrow. So you will have water on different directions. Let me show you this cute little classic car too. This is the place that you can rent bikes and golf cars, and this classic one I'm sure is not for rent but it's a very nice touch. Another very cute street is this one. This one I'm sure is this car is very popular with Instagrammers, I'm sure. And it is in front of the square, where right next to it you have the church. There is one more also here. It has the same idea. Flowers growing out of a classic car. And even the house behind it is very cute. All the plants have taken over the building. This kind of colonial style actually reminds me of a city that we visited in the state of Rio de Janeiro, Paraty. If you haven't seen that video, it's definitely worth watching. I'll leave the link on the screen. And our playlist of Brazil actually has more than 150 videos in it. So if you would like to get to know most of Brazil, we visited all parts, all of the most important attractions and most touristic places. I think we covered. One more point that is very interesting is this square. It's right next to the church again. We were there from that street. We came here. These stones that you see that now look like ruins, these were the foundations that were put in place for a house or a building that they were going to construct to house the government of the Portuguese, I would say army maybe, or generals that at the time were in control. But due to the wars that happened between Portugal and Spain, they were destroyed and the building was never built actually. So we're saying bye to our day trip to Colonia del Sacramento. We walked all of this way but by the water today when we arrived. So now we're going through one of the streets, and a lot of streets in Colonia, as you can see, they all have mature trees, green, and it's a very nice sight to see. We're just walking a little bit fast because we only have 15 minutes to get back to the terminal and then board the vessel to go back to Buenos Aires. All right, we made it to the terminal. We went through customs, everything good. A bit tired, it's the end of the day, we're a bit exhausted. We woke up very early and we have been walking the whole day. So we're just waiting for the boarding to start and heading back to Buenos Aires. Back in Buenos Aires in one piece, and it is almost 7 p.m. We made it. It was a full day. Opa! Cool, middle of the sidewalk. We hope you enjoyed it. We're gonna wrap it up because our Uber is coming, so we have to run to the pickup point. If you enjoyed the video, give us a like, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.
Bye.